now. I think eclipses are a very, very important part of our forecasting arsenal. I believe that they should be used every time we apply transits, be it to our natal chart or to a mundane chart. In other words, we should include them as a transit, always, always, always. I use eclipses in pairs because they alternate between a north nodal and a south nodal. The south nodal, of course, is going to be where we're coming from, what we're dealing with, or maybe cleaning up from the past, or something that needs to be dealt with that we didn't quite finish with, so that we can go on to the north nodal, because the north nodal is the new avenue that we are entering into. All right, so because I like to use them in pairs, I have given you the current pair that we are working with right now. And we should always, 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 again, this is my opinion, be aware of the two eclipses that are affecting us at this moment. Now, the very latest eclipse occurred on November the 13th, 2012. It was the North Nodal eclipse at 2137 Scorpio. The obscuration period is 4 minutes and 2 seconds. That's the length of time that the eclipse lasted. And we can see its path moving along here across the Pacific, falling just a little bit short of Peru. And, you know, I get earthquake data that comes into me regularly from the Earthquake Center. And there has been some additional activity, particularly in this area here off the west coast of South America. Nothing really huge, but considerably more activity. The previous eclipse to that one was May the 20th, 2012, and now it's the South Nodal. You see, North Nodal, South Nodal. Zero Gemini 28, and since eclipses are backing up in the zodiac, this one didn't quite get into Taurus. And look at its obscuration period, 5 degrees and 36 minutes. I am going to be talking more about that, so that's going to make a bit more sense. This one has made me somewhat nervous. It started here, as we can see, the southern part of China, moving along the coast of Japan, and that's why this one made me particularly nervous, because of all of the activity there and the reactor problems that they've had there. And there has been quite a lot of seismic activity, but again, nothing in the huge area. Same along here, along the Aleutians, and there has been extra activity in this area, again, not large. So we're going to be watching these Taurus-Scorpio eclipses now, which will take us to the next slide. While we're on the subject of pairs here, I thought maybe we should take a look at the pair that will be coming up. Now, notice that I'm including the November the 13th eclipse at 2137 Scorpio, and adding the next one, which will be May the 10th, 2013. We can see that that's a South Nodal in Taurus. So now you get the idea, Scorpio and Taurus, how they oscillate between the two signs. This one, it looks like Australia is getting some extra activity here, doesn't it? So we will be watching, I don't know, I don't get too much news from Australia, but maybe Americans do, or some of you in some of the other parts of the world may. Or I might get some information from somebody from Australia on additional activity over the next year that could be coming from this. And this one coming across and stopping in the Pacific. Now, if we were to go back one, and we see here the activity that we have been having in the Pacific, and now here, the November the 13th in the Pacific, and this one coming up May the 10th in the Pacific, this would indicate something important to me, that our weather will continue to be very, very challenging and difficult worldwide, because a lot of weather comes from the water temperature in this ocean.